Everyone loves a good shootout, especially me. Nothing says action more than watching a guy dive through the air with two guns in hand, shooting the absolute piss out of every bad guy in the room. As much as I love that, not all my favourite shootouts are long drawn out sparkly spectacles. Sometimes what makes a good shootout can be something as simple as a character's emotional drive, a line of dialogue, or wanting to see a bad guy get shot really bad. So here's a list of my favourite and what I consider to be the best shootout scenes committed to film. Bender's Top 10 Shootouts. Number 10. Judge Dredd. And I'm talking about the 95 Sylvester Stallone action-packed classic. Though there are many shootout scenes, the best shootout is the one at the start where he first uses the Lawgiver. The Lawgiver is a voice-activated handgun with 7 different kinds of ammunition, ranging from rapid fire, armor-piercing, as well as the glorious double whammy, and Dredd uses all of them. Stallone's a natural badass, with his chiseled looks, deep voice, and crooked snarl. Add it all up and Stallone is a way better Judge Dredd than the new guy. No one can snarl double whammy with the same "I can't wait to shoot you" voice that Stallone has.
Double whammy.
Double whammy.
Told ya. Number 9.
I'll be back.
The Terminator. Nothing says deadly motherfucker like dual-wielding 2 pistols, but dual-wielding an assault rifle and an automatic shotgun while shooting cops is friggin' insane. This scene is Arnie as the Terminator ambushing a police station, shooting the absolute crap out of anything that moves. The music is suspenseful, debris flying everywhere, and the gun sound effects are loud and mean. Now I know you're not supposed to cheer for the bad guy or when cops are being shot, but it's impossible not to in this scene. My mate Crowther thinks shotgun deaths are the funniest thing in the world, and this scene's full of them and always cracks him up. Damn. If anything, this scene tells you one thing: you don't fuck with the Terminator. Number 8. Sudden Impact. The guy who started it all, the original hard-boiled cop with a cynical side, Dirty Harry. In the middle of a cafe heist, Dirty Harry trash talks the thugs by telling them a long story about the coffee he just ordered. Who is so confident in himself that he tried to talk armed thugs out of a robbery with a story about his over-sugared morning coffee? Dirty Harry Callahan, that's who. Unfortunately, the goons don't listen to what he has to say, so instead they have to listen to his .44 Magnum. And of course, he finishes it all off with the best and most straightforward one-liner of all time.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Number 7. Face Off. Nick Cage, John Travolta and John Woo, the 3 main ingredients that were used to make this heroic bloodshed gun-fu fantastico. All the shootouts in this movie are amazing, but the shootout scene I'm referring to is the raid on Dietrich's hideout. There's a huge body count of cops and criminals, but what makes this scene wild is the way everything was filmed. Using slow motion, double cuts, moving camera, blood, heaps of debris, and the John Woo original style of gun-fu makes this scene truly amazing. What's fantastic about John Woo's directing style is that this movie isn't just mindless shootout movie. It's packed with lots of subtext and symbolism I wasn't even aware of until I started seriously studying film. One example is the scene after Cage and Travolta's characters have swapped bodies and they both turn to a mirror and shoot at each other. Their reflections are that of the person they hate the most and who they want to shoot, but it's also themselves. If you really think about it, you'll go cross-eyed, but I think Castor as Archer says it the best.
It's like looking in a mirror, only not.
Number 6. Tombstone. Wyatt Earp and the gunfight at OK Corral. Tombstone is one of my favourite westerns, and this shootout has a lot to do with it. Wyatt Earp, his brothers Virgil and Morgan, and Doc Holliday march down the street to disarm a few members of the cowboy gang. The lead up to it is fantastic. Wyatt dusts off his enormous buntline revolver, swears in the sheriff, and is followed up by the classic walking down the street in formation. After the initial confrontation, the shit goes down, and when the shit goes down, it's dirty, fast, and how it really would have happened back then. No flash slow motion, no diving through the air, just a good old-fashioned gunfight. What makes these gunslingers impressive is that back then the hammer of the gun had to be pulled back before every shot, and you only got 6 bullets. Nowadays, bullets are chambered automatically and you get up to as many 15 bullets per clip, but back in the Wild West you had to make every shot count. Doc Holliday and Wyatt also have a number of one-liners throughout the movie, which makes the film all the sweeter.
I got you now, you son of a bitch.
You're Daisy if you do. The whole scene finishes up with an amazing shot of the aftermath with the beautiful musical score of Bruce Broken. Now that's epic. Number 5. Django Unchained. Now anyone who knows me knows that I believe action films were perfected in the mid-90s and have been slowly going downhill since then. But thankfully there's a director who's probably thinking the same thing. Let's do it all real! Quentin Tarantino's Shootout and Django uses so many of the old school techniques, I've got nothing but nice things to say about it. The slow motion, steady picture, crisp editing, blood debris and dual wield, you can tell straight away who inspired Tarantino. He knows John Woo's the man, and it's his style of gun fu that this reminds me most of. Pretty sure he even lifted Django's entrance from John Woo's film The Killer when Chow Yun-Fat jumps in the room. But Tarantino makes his scene his own with the over-the-top blood and the fun comedic elements to it. Top stuff. Number 4. Last Man Standing. Around 1995-96, Hollywood started doing their own versions of the John Woo style shootout, with movies like Desperado and Last Man Standing having their heroes dual-wielding two guns Kimbo style. Last Man Standing is a 1930s western and was directed by 80s action guy Walter Hill, who claims that all his movies in a way are westerns. This movie is an authorised remake of Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, a film about a travelling samurai who visits a town where two rival gangs are at war with each other. Bruce Willis plays a gunslinger who's hoping to make money off each of the gangs but gets caught up in the war himself, and in the finale has to take them all down. The movie's pretty slow paced, but once it gets to the action scenes it's pretty rapid fire. I think this was an attempt to take gun fu to a more serious place, but gun fu is just so unserious and fun. I love how far the bad guys fly after Willis shoots them. It's as if he's loading his pistol with shotgun shells. This one made number 4 because of setting, music, gun fu and Bruce Willis. Number 3. RoboCop. With the remake on the way, I had to announce what a huge fan I am of the first two films. RoboCop was the first R-rated film I had ever seen, and I was about 6 at the time. For those familiar with RoboCop, that's no small feat. I don't think anyone can ease into an R-rated movie, but this one shoved it right in your face with some of the most brutal murder scenes in film history. The guy's resurrected as a half-human, half-cyborg shooting machine called RoboCop. The shootout scene that makes number 3 is RoboCop's raid on the cocaine factory. What's awesome is the trick shots, massive amounts of blood and bad guys shooting on the way down. It's ridiculous and fantastic. What makes the trick shot so cool is that since he's already got his targets locked in, he doesn't have to look where he's shooting. Basil Polidoro has served as the film's composer, and his music is just so grand and epic it truly stands out as one of the best movie themes of all time. Number 2. The Punisher. Your standard revenge film about a man whose entire family is killed and takes on the persona of anti-hero The Punisher. The actor playing The Punisher is one of my favourites, Thomas Jane. His demeanour, physique and features remind me of past action heroes like Clint Eastwood, which I'm sure was the director's intentions. Now what makes the final shootout stand out is that you've been waiting the whole movie for Frank Castle to get his revenge, and he gets it real good in this short and sweet shootout. Being trained by the military, the Punisher tactically raids the hideout of the gang responsible for murdering his family. Punisher is cruel and precise, using booby traps, shotguns and knives to not only kill his enemies, but punish them. The final showdown between Frank and the villain, played by John Travolta, is a nice little quick draw. But my favourite part of the scene is the way the Punisher kills one of the thugs so offhandedly. Cold as ice. And now for my number 1 favourite shootout of all time. Hard Target, the unrated international version. John Woo plus Van Damme plus mullet equals not only my favourite shootout, but this could be the best finale I've ever seen. This shootout's got it all. Explosions, double guns, shotguns, machine guns, arrows, blood, sparks, karate, somersaults, and the classic John Woo pigeons in slow motion. Though not considered Woo's best film, this is easily Van Damme's best. Van Damme plays a Cajun former Marine named Chance Boudreaux, who's pitted against a gang of sophisticated huntsmen after the most dangerous game of all, man. What I love about this film and this shootout is it's just over the top everything. Everything's exaggerated, from the amount of damage a shotgun does, to infinite ammo in Chance's pistols, and Van Damme's greasy mullet in slow motion. It's almost like you're watching a cartoon, because what you're seeing is so unbelievable. The stunts are fantastic and crazy and really sell the over-the-top nature of the film. First-time viewers will almost definitely be rolling their eyes due to disbelief and shaking their heads at the one-liners, but that's what makes it awesome. The only downer with this movie is that there's so many different versions of the film. I believe the first version of the film you see is your favourite, and luckily or unluckily, the version I seen was the international unrated version with extra blood, extra gunshots and a better cut of the slow motion fly kit. The film was released on Blu-ray a month ago, and luckily for me it's the version of the film I like. So I get all the mullet and double denim in full glorious 1080 high definition. Now if you haven't seen any of these movies, I highly recommend watching them all, but if I had to suggest just one, it would be Hard Target. It's over the top amazing and it'll kick your ass so hard, pigeons will fly out of it.